Good morning, children. Hope you all are doing good and staying safe at home. And now let us move on to our lesson, Geography, lesson number 9, Life in the Temperate Grasslands. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about temperate grasslands. So before going to that, let us see the grasslands are divided into two types. The grasslands are divided into two types, tropical grasslands and temperate grasslands. So the grasslands are divided into tropical grasslands and temperate grasslands. So we all know this is equator and this is tropical zone. So the grasses that are there in these areas, in these tropical areas, we call as tropical grasslands, and above these are temperate zones. And the grasses that are there in temperate areas are called as temperate grasslands. So here the examples for tropical grasslands are savanna. As an example for tropical grassland, and for temperate grasslands, steppe, veld, prairie. So you can see in your textbook there are many examples for temperate grasslands, and in this lesson we are going to learn about temperate grasslands, and here we are going to learn only about veld and prairie. So in this lesson we are going to learn about the temperate grasslands of veld and prairie. If we see the temperate grasslands, we can see in North America we are having prairie, and in South America we are having pampa, and in Central Asia we are having steppe, and in Australia we are having downs, and in Africa we are having veld. All these are the temperate grasslands. So in this lesson we are going to learn only two things, that is North America prairie and Africa veld. So if we come to prairie, where is prairie located? It is located in North America, and it is occupying areas like United States and Canada. So it is occupying some parts of USA and Canada, and here the area is stretched with grasslands. So this area, the prairie area, is covered with grasslands. So the prairies are located in North America, covering USA and Canada. And to the west of prairies we are having Rocky Mountains. To the west we have Rock Mountains, and to the east we are having great rivers. To the east we are having great rivers, and we have tributaries like Saskatchewan and Mississippi River. So the prairies are located in North America, and it has covered areas like USA and Canada, and to the west we have Rock Mountains, and to the east we are having great rivers, and the tributaries of this prairie are Saskatchewan and Mississippi River. They flow into the prairies. Now let us see the climate in prairies. as we can see that the prairies are located in the interiors of the continent. So we can see extreme climatic conditions here, and in summer we can see the temperature. In summer the temperature here is around 20 degrees, and in winter the temperature is around minus 20 degrees. So here in summer the temperature is 20 degrees, and in winter the temperature is minus 20 degrees. And sometimes in winter season we can experience strong, warm and dry wind that blows from the rocks. In winter season we can experience strong, warm and dry wind that blows from the rocks. So this is called as Chinook. Chinook. So the wind that blows strong, warm and dry, that wind is called as Chinook, and this wind blows from the rocks. From the rocks it is blowing to the prairies, and when it blows it brings temperature. Then when it blows the temperature will raise up to 40 degrees. So when this wind blows the temperature will raise up to 40 degrees, and the ice caps, whatever the ice caps are there, they get melted down in a quick time. Here in prairies the rainfall is moderate, and that too we can see the rainfall only during early summers, and sometimes we can't see rain also. So here the rain is less. In the prairie region we don't get rain much. Let's move on to the natural vegetation and wildlife. As we see, the rainfall is not even all through the area. So in different areas the rainfall receives is different. So we can see different kind of grasses here. Tall grass prairies are found in wetter eastern parts. So as I said, towards the east side of these prairies we are having Great Lakes. So the area will be wetter there, or the area will be moist there, and that is good for the grass to grow. So we can see tall grass prairies towards the wetter eastern parts, and we can see mixed grass prairie in the central parts, and we can see short grass prairies towards the rain shadow of these Rocky Mountains. That means towards the west side of these prairies we can see short grass prairies. Everything depends upon the rainfall received. And now if we move on to the animals that are there in these prairies, we can see prairie dog. It's not like normal dog what we see, it is a bit different, and that dog is called as prairie dog. And we can see coyotes, badgers, ferrets, squirrels, bison, gophers, rabbit. All these are the animals that we can see in prairie area. In olden days, we used to see so many bisons that are roaming freely in this prairie area. But what happened? Due to wild hunting, the bisons are now going to be extinct. Bison is an animal, it looks somewhat like buffalo, but it is not buffalo, it belongs to buffalo family. It's a huge animal, and people used to hunt it for the meat and all. So now it is going to get extinct. Now let us see the type of people that live in the area called prairie. And here the original inhabitants are mostly nomadic. Nomadic means they are keep on moving from one place to other. So the original inhabitants of this prairie are nomadic, and they used to have houses like which is made of grass or tents, and especially in these areas we call it as types. In your textbook you can see in page number 164 down they have given the houses are made of grass and we call it as tents. Especially in this area we call it as types. The people in the prairies used to follow hunting, agriculture, fishing, handicrafts, All these are the occupation of the people that live in these prairies, and mostly they used to hunt bisons for various purposes, and we can see different communities like Anishinaabe, Manitoba, Blackfoot, Dakota. All these are the indigenous communities of the prairie. So these are the different communities: Anishinaabe, Manitoba, Blackfoot, Dakota. All these are the different community of people. They live in prairie. So if we see this prairie area, most of the prairie area is occupied by Europeans, and many of the Europeans started settling in these areas from 19th century. If we see at present, most of this area is covered by European people, and the main occupation for them is agriculture. And in agriculture they use different farming technologies, and they use different farming practices and technologies. By using modern farming technologies, they used to get high yielding products. So this area is called as granary of the world, because we used to get all the grains like pulses, wheat, all these come from this area called prairie, and this area is called as granary of the world. And along with these, they used to cultivate crops like soybeans, potato, cotton, and alfalfa are the different varieties of crops that are grown in these areas. Many food processing industries have come up in these areas, and we also see cattle rearing. Cattle rearing is one of the most important occupation for them, and they can rear cattle only in area where there is low rainfall, where there is less grass or short grass. So in those areas they can do this cattle rearing, and they have ranches. Ranches means large cattle farms are called as ranches, and many dairy, meat and leather industries depend upon these ranches. And this area is also rich with deposits of minerals like iron ore and coal. So this area is rich with minerals like iron ore and coal, and this area is having a very good transport network system. So in this lesson we have learnt about the temperate grasslands, and that too in temperate grasslands we have learnt about the prairies that are located in North America, and we have learnt the climate, the natural vegetation and wildlife, and people and the occupation, and all that we have learned today. And tomorrow we are going to learn about the wealth.